Display capture. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Yo, we are live. We are live. In effect. Oh, look at this. This is a good one. Let me see if I can send this to the pod. Let's see here. Let's drop this in Discord. That we are live. Hey, what's up, Maurice? Appreciate you dropping in. Let him. We're gonna do display capture. I should have started with a video tonight. I was like, you know what? We actually got a long video to play. So I didn't put up one to play in the background. Wanted to hop right into it tonight. So welcome to the room, everybody that's in here. Appreciate y'all popping in, popping out. I don't mind. I do the same when I see people go live. There will be no offense given here. We're just doing this every week until we get better at it. We did have a new pod that dropped today. Let's hop into the episodes. Let's see here. We recorded today. Let me go through. Episode 194. We talked about Snoop Dogg making a comment regarding Buzz Lightyear, having to explain that to his child, or his grandchild rather. So different opinions between Pastor Mike Will and Gav. As y'all know, Gav, as he always like to describe himself, he's an ally. I'm on the outside of that fight. Not an enemy, nor an ally. We discussed InvestFest and is InvestFest, why is it dwindling down, if it's dwindling down at all. Let's see here. After that, we spoke about Charlemagne and his beef with Joe Budden. You know, sometimes the people that you hate become bigger than you. What do you do then? We didn't discuss Ozempic a little bit and about whether or not being overweight in the future would be a choice. How would that be seen? And then we discussed Ryan Clark saying that Chris Brown is the greatest entertainer of all time over Michael Jackson. That one we kind of got into it about because that simply, in my opinion, it's not true. All right. Like Michael Jackson during the era of no social media, anti-blackness, recessions, Black Mondays. I mean, you talk about the 80s, the crack epidemic, the heroin epidemic of the 70s. Like, this guy's withstood the test of time against all those things. Like, I love Chris Brown. All right, love Chris. This is not even this is not even a Michael Jordan versus LeBron conversation when we were discussing Michael Jackson and Chris Brown. To me, this is a 100% Michael Jackson versus Chris Brown conversation. Right? It's not even Jordan, LeBron. Both are great in their own right. One of the things that we discussed on the pod is how much bigger would Chris Brown be, if the incident doesn't happen. And I'm not minimizing it. It's just that, when I say the incident, we all know what I'm talking about, right? What's up, Walker? Appreciate you coming into the room tonight, man. We just in here chilling, all two of us. So we'll look back at these days one day and be like, man, maybe it was just two of us in here. It'll happen. It'll happen. It's going to happen in very, very near future. But yeah, we discussed Chris Brown and Mike Jackson today. Ryan Clark. Hope your family's okay, man, because you be saying things that sometimes make me wonder if somebody have your family hostage or something, because you say some wild stuff. Then we discussed some documentaries, wrapped it up with some sports talk at the end. And that was the pod today. I will say, we've been bringing the heat. We've been bringing the heat. Like some days we show up and it's a B+ effort, but I'd probably say in the last 90 days, man, we've been ramping it up on the pod. So if you're not listening, if you have not been listening since February, you are missing out. Like if you started listening in the past and you was like, yo, they're funny sometime, I like the reels, but I don't really listen to the pod anymore. If y'all haven't been listening for the last 90 days, 120 days, yo, you're missing out. It is taken off to the next level. I think both of us kind of see that the trajectory, and we kind of understand where it's going. So I guess it's reinvigorating us. So the pods, appreciate that, Relentless. For the last I would say the last 4 months, man, pod's been fire, bro. Like, I'll throw it on in the car and listen. So typically I'll just listen and I'll skip through, try to figure out like, hey, what did I say? Where did I mess up? But no, I actually go back and listen to the pods. They're actually fire. This is not me tooting my own horn or patting myself on the back, because God knows I don't need help in those places. But if you're new to the game and you're like, yo, I'm just here for the reels, I ain't even telling you to go back to like episode 95. No, don't do that to yourself. But yo, I'd probably say around episode anything in the 170s forward, yo, fire. Hey, Relentless, we're gonna get there, man. We're gonna get there. Once we sit down and talk, man, you're gonna realize that we both got a lot of life happening right now. So we're gonna get to you. Matter of fact, I think you said you couldn't message me on Pastor Mike Will because I'm not logged into Black Dad's Club all day. If you could comment on something on my page so I can follow you, that way you can send me a message and you and I can talk. Speaking of which, Relentless, you're probably good for this. We're actually going to try to reach out to a lot of the new pods and micro influencers in the Charlotte Greensboro market. And we're probably going to have another event soon. And we're going to have more like a cocktails and conversations. Y'all know we used to host those a couple years ago. We're actually going to put these on ourselves now. So if y'all are in the Charlotte Greensboro market, if you have a podcast, if you are a micro influencer, hit me up. Go and follow me so I can follow you back. Send me a message. If I don't follow you back, comment on something so I can follow, let me know, hey, follow me back. I'll follow you back. I can't just be following South American women all day from Pastor Mike Will's Instagram. So that way we can message one another. We will have a conversation. And what we're going to do, and tonight, I'm actually going to play the Jubilee clip tonight. We're going to discuss that. But what we're going to do, or what we want to do, is we want to moderate basically, a panel, a symposium, fireside chat, whatever's going to be least intimidating, so people can come and be themselves at hopefully the same location where we had our 4th year anniversary. And do 2 live tapings, right? So an all day event, and then after the event wraps up, we can go ahead and day party it out. But yeah, if you have a pod, if you're a micro influencer, if you're an influencer, but if you're in the Charlotte, Greensboro area, Winston-Salem, I guess that's a ride that you can make. Columbia, South Carolina, don't really see a lot of podcasts coming out of that area. But maybe you do. Maybe you're all right there. We haven't saw you. Greenville, that Greenville, Spartanburg. If you're in those areas, we want to bring everybody up, put us in one room, and do our own version of symposiums or fireside chats. So that will be coming up in the near future. We were discussing those plans today. Mimi, welcome to the room. Definitely probably somebody that would be helping us out tremendously with that. So enough yapping. Let's hop into it tonight. Oh, talent acquisition tip of the night. I always tell you guys, craft your resume to the preferred qualifications of jobs. When you do that, hey, I didn't think I needed to say this, but let me say this because I actually ran into this today. When you lie on your resume, and I'm not telling you to lie on your resume, I'm telling you to craft your resume to the preferred qualifications of the job. That is not the same as outright lying. But if you do choose to lie on your resume for the love of everything, YouTube, what those duties and responsibilities are. If you actually tell me that you can do a VLOOKUP, and I ask you what data sets have you put together and pulled out VLOOKUP information, you might want to discuss that, right? If you tell me that you did the implementation of an applicant tracking system and it was a applicant tracking system, and I say, okay, how did you solve this problem when it came up? You need to be able to speak to it. So if you're going to BS, be good at the BS. I get it. A lot of jobs, you can learn a lot of information on the fly, especially if you're a good networker, especially if you're on a good team, right? You could actually walk up to somebody and say, hey, can I get your spreadsheet, right? And then you can just copy all their formulas from the spreadsheet. Or you can say, hey, I need help with this, and they'll show you how to do it. If you're a fast learner, you can pick it up, all right? In order to get that, you're going to have to, be able to speak to it first, right? So let me be clear. When I say whatever the preferred qualifications on the job are, look at that information and craft your resume to it. For the love of God, please go and learn that on YouTube. If you're gonna embellish, all right, don't tell a whole lie, all right? Tell a half a lie, all right? So, talent acquisition tip of the week: if you're gonna embellish, get your butt on YouTube, get your butt on Reddit, figure it out. Hey, also, find out about these companies and what they do so you can kind of have an understanding of the job. Ran into somebody today who really didn't know what the hell they was talking about, right? Resume looked good. So don't do that. Don't do that. That's all I'm saying. Don't do that. Talent acquisition tip of the week: do not lie on your resume, right? Embellish, cool. Get your butt to YouTube. Get your butt to Reddit. Learn what you say that you said that you could do, right? Find out about the company. Be able to speak to it. All right. You nobody's gonna hire you if you 100% just cannot do the job. Right? Don't do that. And let's hop into it tonight. Let's see here. So we talked about what today's podcast was. That dropped today. Talked about talent acquisition tip of the week. Where do I want to start tonight? I'm gonna tell you, man. The Jubilee. I've always known about Jubilee. I like Jubilee. I don't subscribe to them, but I've always paid attention. But for the past 2 weeks, they've really been looking like they're diving into black culture, right? They went into the whole Amanda Seals, one black radical versus 20 black conservatives. And one of the things that we said on there, we were just like, these black people you're picking, yeah, it's kind of iffy, right? So Jubilee doubled it up with, what is the name of this pod? Matter of fact, I did not size this screen, but let's go ahead and look into it real quick here. Display capture. All right. So this one, let's see. I can't say if this is the actual title, right? I only date white men. I can't say that this is the actual title, right? So I'm not gonna go in on sisters on that. One, two, I have 100% always been in the camp of go where you love. All right, I that goes for everybody. It goes for the men. That goes for the women, right? But this question was on the pod, right? And this question goes: Black men are intimidated by successful black women. All right, let's let it play.
By successful black women.
It's good that you're being real with yourself, though. That's important.
Whoa, wait. Okay. I will say, like, sometimes.
Okay, for the record, the black man that was on this portion of Jubilee, I really need podcasts, and I really need everybody to start telling me where people's grandparents are from. One, two, what's your lineage? Three, what's your political affiliation? I don't just throw this up here, black men, right? Because Fernando could be a brother. He could be from somewhere else. But let's finish.
I'm not going to say all black men are, but I know I've heard from plenty of my friends and plenty of older women that I know who are kind of successful, and they're like, yeah, it's...
Now, I want y'all to look at this poll right here, right? To this question, the Global Fizz poll says 62% black men are intimidated by... What was it? What was the question? Black men are intimidated by successful black women. You know, let's go ahead and hop into it before I let it play out, right? There's an insinuation here, right? When you read this sentence right here, right? So one of the things when I was in elementary school, right? Like, well, what's the subject, right? The subject of this is black men, right? Black men are the subject here, right? Black women would not be the subject here. The subject would be black men, right? And what are we discussing, right? We're discussing that by black women being successful, it intimidates black men, right? This poll is 62% saying yes, that is the truth. All right, let's let it go.
Really hard to date because men will be like, oh, you make more money than me or something.
You guys like to say that we shouldn't compare, as women, we shouldn't compare ourselves to men because we'll never be the same as you guys. But you guys do that with us. Compare yourselves to us. Like, I don't make as much as her, or I don't have all the degrees that she has.
I don't know if it's the same kind of comparison we're talking about, right? So I think a lot of the time when people are saying women shouldn't compare themselves to men is women shouldn't try to be men versus men comparing themselves to women. It's more like, am I fulfilling that traditional masculine role that's kind of expected? Now, we can have the conversation as to whether or not that's still apt for our time or not, whether that's still relevant. I would say it is, just because it seems like people seem to appreciate, at least from my perspective, women seem to appreciate men who make more than them still.
Intimidation is a form of insecurity. So that stems from lack of communication and not dating someone on your level. Not you specifically, but you know, if the person isn't dating someone on their level, there needs to be that communication because obviously that person is with you for other reasons.
I don't want to make the broad statement that it's all black men because it's not. It's specifically black men that for whatever reason in their own life, they're not happy with where they are at. They have some sort of insecurity. Maybe it's career.
Okay, now, this is the question that I have for the audience, right? This says black men are intimidated by successful black women, right? So, by using the term intimidate, right? Intimidate means that I don't want to approach, I don't want to broach, I won't push back against, right? I am basically, for all intents and purposes, I am submitting myself to the power, right? Every answer and response that they're giving you right now is how it's a pushback, right? A pushback isn't an intimidation, right? A pushback would be a revolution, right? If you're intimidated by the government, are you fighting the government? Right? Like if the people that was revolutionary soldiers in 1774, right? If they were intimidated by King George, would they be pushing back against King George or would they be doing what King George wants? Right? I love this constant and consistent sleight of hand that's played when honestly the only thing you want to do is take a slight at black men, right? This is just an opportunity to take a slight at black men, right? Because if you're saying they're intimidated, you would never talk to them. They're too afraid to talk to you. They're intimidated, right? They have to be forced to be on the field with you. But what you're telling me is this.
Career insecurity, financial insecurity. So if they're with that archetypal strong black woman, in my experience, instead of being like, oh, like, that's awesome, you have a degree in this, you got this job, you did this, they're like, okay, big mama, you got money, big mama. I'm like, what the hell? Or like, I've even had experiences where they were like basically slut shaming me, talking down to me because I got a better job or I lost weight.
Now again, intimidation, right? What she's hearing, it's not intimidation. It's the wrong language.
And people started noticing that. So now I was a whore. But in my experience, if I've been with a black man who, he is successful, he has a job that he likes, he's pursuing his hobbies, he has X, Y, and Z, comments like that are never made. Because he's not he's not internalizing your success as his failure.
Yeah.
Met that across all men.
Godprint provides hundreds of ways.
Oh, god damn it. I need to subscribe to premium.
That's fast.
They just feel intimidated when you are successful. And in my experience too, I do tend to be more of a dominant black woman, and I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, and that's totally okay, but it does scare some men.
Does it make you feel like you shouldn't lead with, because I used to be the type of person, I would lead with like all my accomplishments or my businesses. I would lead with that thinking that, oh, he might like me even more because this is what I do, or, you know? So now it's just like, I don't like to share anything when I'm dating. Like, I don't do anything. I just sit at home.
What I've had to learn is, because I used to diminish myself a lot.
Yeah.
When at the end of the day, I want something that's real. I want someone who's gonna love me for me and all that encompasses that. So I'm gonna be unapologetically 100% me. I'm loud. I talk my shit. I speak my mind. And if you
Let's dive into it. I'm loud. I talk my shit. I speak my mind. If a man said, I'm loud, I talk my shit, I speak my mind, what type of woman would that man get? Right? Long term, right? Not the woman that's gonna go sleep with him for the night, right? What type of woman would we expect that man to have? I'm loud. I'm gonna say whatever I want to say to you. I'm gonna talk my shit, right? Like, there's something that's lost, right? And this is why I hate this title, and this is why I skipped to this part right here, specifically, right? It's because it's like, yo, black men are intimidated by black successful women, right? And here's a woman that's like, hey, I went on my weight loss journey, I've lost my weight, and now I'm in a slut shame. And it's like, yo, I don't think any of this is really happening. I'm not going to diminish her experience right here, right? But when you say, what did she say? Let's let her talk it.
That's totally okay, but it does scare some men.
Does it make you feel like you
Insecurity, financial insecurity. So if they're with that archetypal strong black woman, in my experience, instead of being like, oh, like, that's awesome, you have a degree in this, you got this job, you did this, they're like, okay, big mama, you got money, big mama. I'm like, what the hell? Or like, I've even had experiences where they were like basically slut shaming me, talking down to me because I got a better job or I lost weight, and people started noticing that. So now I was a whore. But in my experience, if I've been with a black man who, he is successful, he has a job that he likes, he's pursuing his hobbies, he has X, Y, and Z, comments like that are never made. Because he's not he's not internalizing your success as his failure.
Yeah.
Met that across all men. They just feel intimidated when you are successful. And in my experience too, I do tend to be more of a dominant black woman, and I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, and that's totally okay. But
And I want to get back to that part. So if you know it's not everyone's cup of tea, right? That means that when you meet somebody and they say, hey, this isn't my cup of tea, that's not a rejection, right? one of the things that I recognize about myself is, guess what? Not everyone's cup of tea. So when I meet a woman and she's like, I ain't really feeling all that, Pastor Mike Will, I'm not like, you're insecure. I'm like, yeah, you probably should get out while you can get out. Because I'm not everyone's cup of tea, right? And I think this becomes the problem, right? It's because instead of admitting that, hey, I've been rejected, right? Like if I meet a young lady and I say, hey, and she sees the side chick clip, right? And let's say it's a woman I really want. Let's say she's Mariah Carey. I think Mariah Carey at one point in time probably one of the finest women on the planet, right? Fine, talented, all that, right? Way before she slept with Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon kind of diminished her to me, but anyway, that's not here or there. But anyway, I run across a young Mariah Carey, bro, and she sees me and she looks and she be like, "Hey, didn't you make that side chick clip? I ain't going for that, right?" So I'm literally being rejected, right? I can't look at her and say, "You insecure, can't handle nothing, yada yada yada," right? I gotta eat it. You know what I'm saying? I have to be like, yo, it was out of context. Podcast mate set me up. But at the end of the day, those are my words, right? And that did go viral. I gotta own it. Right? I can't run away from it. But anyway, let's continue.
It does scare some men.
Does it make you feel like you shouldn't lead with, because I used to be the type of person, I would lead with like all my accomplishments or my businesses. I would lead with that thinking that, oh, he might like me even more because this is what I do, or, you know? So now it's just like, I don't like to share anything when I'm dating. Like, I don't do anything. I just sit at home.
What I've had to...
And I want to say something to the ladies. If you are super successful, that does not help us as men decide whether or not we like you. Chances are you're not even paying for the date that we're on, right? It does nothing for us, right? So it doesn't matter if you make $50,000 a year or if you make $500,000 a year. On that date, it doesn't matter, right? In the grand scheme of life and reality, yes, that would make a difference, right? If my wife makes $500,000 a year, that's going to help out a whole lot more than my wife making $50,000 a year, right? If she's not using it against me, right? But on the first date, on the second date, on the third date, I don't care. Unless you're paying, I don't care.
learn this because I used to diminish myself a lot.
Yeah.
When at the end of the day, I want something that's real. I want someone who's gonna love me for me and all that encompasses that. So I'm gonna be unapologetically 100% me. I'm loud. I talk my shit. I speak my mind. And if you don't like that, then you're not for me.
But I think that this specific prompt goes back to the original prompt. Men who prefer to date women outside of their race. I believe that it's not really a race thing, it's a class thing. And I honestly believe that
Oh my God.
if I'm a black woman and you already view me as a stereotypical black woman, loud, disrespectful.
Oh my. Okay. All right. My bad. This is a reaction of me watching this by myself. I'm not by myself right now. Okay. At no point did Fernando, who I'm not quite sure is African American or not, right? At no point did he say, hey, black women, y'all are loud, boisterous, confident, domineering, right? That was said by the lady on the panel, the second lady. He is now about to have to defend something that he never even said. By the way, the title, Black Men Are Intimidated by Successful Black Women, at no point have anybody addressed the intimidation yet. Just want to point that out.
I don't respect black men if you view me as that way, on top of me being successful. See, I don't have to be more successful than you. Sometimes men, specifically black men, believe that you don't need to have so much confidence in yourself. I feel like you are competing with me.
Yes.
My success does not revolve around your success. We should want to be successful together, which leads back to that specific detail.
I always hear this, we need to be successful together. And I assure you on the first date, they're not paying it together, right? He's paying it.
About creating a healthy relationship, a healthy black successful relationship. And I believe that black men view women who are very confident. I'm very confident in myself. I don't disrespect you. I respect you so much, but I respect myself more. And I think that men have a hard time toting that line of keeping my masculinity and upraising your femininity.
I think there's definitely some validity in that. I think
See, mind you, the question was black men are intimidated by successful black women. There's 4 women there. There's 4 men there. And if you agree, you step forward. Fernando, who again I'm not quite sure is African American, was the only man to step forward. Big ups to the other black men, also questionable for not stepping forward. Fernando, we already know is shooting some bail, but let's let him continue.
however people decide to arrange like their marriage and their relationships, I think it's totally up to them. Like whatever roles you choose, that's up to you. If that works, it's healthy. You should do that. I wanted to unpack the on your level thing that you said. So what does that mean on your level?
Whether that's financially, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, anything, or all of the above. Someone who you feel you resonate well with.
To the men that's in the group chat right now, if you're not on a woman financially, but you're on her level, emotionally, spiritually, sexually, is she submitting to you in that relationship? Yes or no? You can answer. I don't care.
Low insecurities. I feel like, I don't know, did that answer the question?
Yeah.
It didn't.
For the,
Sorry, guys. When I get busier, I get premium.
for the purpose of this conversation, I want y'all's opinions on this. Do you think black women generally would date or marry a man who wasn't financially or had no prospects of being financially, socioeconomically on their level?
Yes. See
Absolutely.
it every day.
Literally.
Every single day.
I wonder why the perception isn't that then. Like I wonder where that comes from then. Well,
That was a nice sleight of hand by Fernando, who I'm not quite sure is African American or not.
like the majority, and I'm sure maybe someone will agree with me that walk over here, because necessarily you're not going. I mean, black women are the most educated right now. Like necessarily you are not.
Y'all gotta stop saying this. All right, they're not the most. You at least got to caveat it with they're the most educated in their demographic, juxtaposed against men. All right, more black women are getting college degrees at a higher rate than black men in comparison to any other demographic, right? But when you say the most educated, that's not how y'all saying it. You're saying it like, hey, when it comes to women, right? Black women are first, somebody's second, somebody's third. Y'all got to stop saying that.
Going to probably find a black man who is on your level. Like it's just the numbers are not there. So a lot of black men might feel like, okay, you might just be settling because we're here now. But would you be dating me if it weren't somebody else?
You know, I think that's actually really interesting that you mentioned that because it's something that is socially imposed, and I think a lot of men, not just black men, but men in general, seek social validation from their peers. And so when other men look at each other, they're like, okay, well, what are you doing for work? Are you making more money than me? You know, obviously they're more competitive with each other, and then obviously that brings competitiveness within the relationship, which is something that shouldn't be the case, but it is.
And again, this is a place where men got to be better. Men, we do compete to the extent of sports. I want to be better than you at something. But one of the things that men understand more than anybody else, and I see women miss this a lot, right? Men understand hierarchy, right? So if one of my boys is a heart surgeon and another one of my boys is a truck driver, right? I understand that they could make the same amount of money, but I also understand that they probably don't make the same amount of money, right? So when we're with our boy that's the heart surgeon and it's a bar tab at the end of the night for beers and it's $160, we don't look to the truck driver to pay it. We look to the heart surgeon to pay it, right? You know why? Because you got it. And one of the things that's cool about men is that when we are in a place of privilege, we understand that, right? We understand that, like, hey, you know, one of my boys is a school teacher, one is a truck driver, one is, you know, a car salesman, but he just started a new job, and I run a detailing business that's grossing $400K a year. You know who this bar tab is tonight? It's mine, right? You know why? Because men understand hierarchy. So this idea that it's like, hey, if you want to be treated fairly, equally, right, which you don't, right? But when women are saying like, hey, right, well, my understanding is if I'm a school teacher and you own an insurance company, right, You're making $350,000 a year, and I'm as a school teacher, I'm making $70,000 a year with summer school and with coaching. Right? The ideal is like, hey, if you care about me, I can't go broke trying to impress you. Right? If you care about me, you're going to handle some things.
It's in a lot of situations.
The only reason I disagreed with the prompt is just because I agree with everything you guys were saying, but personally, because my mum, who's black, she was always very successful. So
This guy is mixed, by the way.
I never
Just in case you're wondering why he looks so weird.
felt intimidated by success, but I agree with what you were saying, that I think that in my experience, if you aren't perceived to be on the financial level of a woman, then she'll just look past you straight away. I'm a musician, so we know that we're not going to be financially successful until it hits. So I'm always more see my potential. But I think there are a lot of people who don't acknowledge potential. They're just you need money now, and that's all I'm going for.
That's me. I don't see potential.
Yeah, I'm at 6.
Appreciate the honesty.
So much potential that honestly, when I first see you and you are not economically secure, I'm not looking at you. I don't have intentions on being.
And this is where sometimes as men we have to call BS, because if that was Lenny Kravitz over there or Jason Momoa over there, mixed, locked up, 6'2", playing the guitar, you're going to see potential a little bit. Let's be for real. You're going to see potential a little bit, right? But when this goofy guy, right, and I don't know the brother, right, but I'm just saying, right, when you look at him, right, he's not those guys. He's not Lenny Kravitz, right? It's easy to say to him, yeah, I'm not going to look at your potential, right? And this is another thing that men understand. It's like, yo, you talking, decent chance that you not telling me the whole truth.
Being the breadwinner. But that, being a breadwinner and being successful are two different things to me.
Can we have to disagree a step forward?
Welcome.
So I strongly disagree. No man is intimidated by any woman because of her credentials. That's not the case. It's usually the character and traits that come with that. They usually have extremely high egos, and you can't tell them anything. And they usually come off extremely masculine. Like what you said you can be masculine and it might be too much for men. It's an attraction thing. Men are not attracted to masculine traits in women. That's what it is.
I don't think that's necessarily true, because someone who, for example, I've known men who were intimidated and jealous because I had a college degree and they did not. It's not just.
All right. I think college degrees is like a little over a third of black women and a quarter of black men. So when we have this college degree conversation in the black community, I get it. Black Dads Club audience a little bit different. Vast majority of you guys probably went to school somewhere, right? So this audience is a little bit different, right? But for the most part, when two black people are having a conversation in the wild, there's a better chance that neither of them have a college degree than one of them having a college degree and one of them not having a college degree, right? So I hate this conversation because, I mean, again, most black men, almost as many black men have college degrees as black women, right? There's probably I think a quarter of black men, 24%, and then black women, I want to say it's like 36%.
That it was, I have a diploma, they did not. It's not just my quote unquote masculine traits that was a turn off.
I would say that might be unique to him, but generally, it's the traits that come with it. It's not the degree, it's the traits. This idea of dating down and dating on your level stems from women. When men have money, they don't view it as dating down when they're with their women. You guys say that, not men. If a man has money and he's taking care of a woman, there's no point that he thinks he's dating down. He's just taking care of his woman.
I think it's dangerous for a woman to date down because we see it all the time. Men.
You guys all said that you would. You guys all said that you would date someone that made less than you, and then you said
No,
that you didn't?
I didn't
I never-
respond because
We
I'm
agreed
not
that you're a
Did you
woman.
say that?
I never.
I thought they said
I
then they
never-
all switched.
You didn't
I thought
see
it was
potential.
y'all said.
No,
Yeah.
you didn't see potential. I don't see
Yeah.
potential.
Potential's
I
not guaranteed.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate economic security. That's all I want.
Oh,
If
we
you are
know that,
secure
yeah.
as a man,
But
yeah.
what if
Yeah.
you're in a field where like you're still studying, or it's something that you know that the payoff isn't immediate?
I wouldn't view that as potential though. I mean, okay, you can, but honestly, if someone says I'm going to school